Alright, so what's good, Tutakas community? It's me, Maxzilla, back with another review because I haven't done any of these in a while. But instead of a movie this time, we're going to be doing a comic book. That comic book being Predator vs. Spider-Man. Made by Benjamin Percy and Marcelo Ferreri, I think that's what his name is. I don't know, I can't pronounce it correctly. Oh yeah, don't mind my voice, I'm a little, it's kind of a little sore right now, but I'll be fine. Yeah, issue 1 opens with a New York in a summer heat wave. It's the sun being everywhere, so says the narrator, and everything being overpriced like water and all that other stuff because of the heat wave and all that stuff, you know? Skip forward a little bit and we come to a crime scene. That's always good, you know? Alright, the crime scene. At the crime scene, it is shown that there is a mutilated hand missing a finger and someone trying to grab an ice cube, that being one of the police officers. There is a literal half of a rib cage ripped out by the other guy, and the other guy's jaw is ripped off. The police officer saying that this killer, quote-unquote, has an artistry, and there's so many people taking photos of it, like the cops and all that stuff. Yeah. It's... fuck. I'm going off script. I don't have a script for this. I'm sorry, guys. So, this killer left 3 mutilated bodies hanging upside down. The forensics team, of course, just looking through all this stuff and investigating the crime, you know, doing all that stuff. The officer is asking about, like, why the forensics guy is asking so many questions. And then the cop says that they were asking a question. And the forensics guy was a disguised Spider-Man. Spider-Man then later calls J. Jonah Jameson and says that he's got something. Jameson, of course, being pissed off that everything's all hot and shit, he's like, Jameson quotes and says, I don't want good news. I want bad news. I want fear. Fear gets clicks. Clicks get ad revenue. And J. Jonah Jameson is always complaining about how it's hot. And Spider-Man is just getting yelled at because, you know, that's what he usually does. Spider-Man gets stopped by some thugs who are robbing a bank, of course. Traditional shit. Spider-Man then later swings around trying to find them. And Spider-Man later finds out that kids are playing in the middle of the street and that they're about to get hit by the car. Of course, Spider-Man being Spider-Man, he saves them and says, "Hi kids, sorry to interrupt a play date." Of course, being his usual quippy self. He ended up losing the van. The van ended up stops somewhere and ends up with some guy who was complaining about, like, how they were late and all that stuff. And that they each get split and go their separate ways. And the guy starts yelling about, like, how they're not listening to him. But then he turns around and finds that all of them are dead. Yeah, this comic's really gory. I just want to let you guys know. The one guy who was talking about the plan and all that stuff decides to grab a machine gun and looks around for everything. The machine gun guy later gets his face ripped off. He's out here screaming in pain. However, a blade comes out of the Predator's wrist and he ends up stabbing the guy. And he just lies there, mutilated without a face. The Predator then scans his face and then wears it like a mask. Like how most Predators do. Not those types of predators, like the alien. I'm getting off topic. Spider-Man then later helps put the kids down and all that stuff. He finds out where where those criminals went who were robbing the bank, and finds the hung bodies of the criminals. Their extremities being, one is missing an entire leg, one is missing both hands, one is missing a head, and one is missing an entire arm. Yeah. We cut to the wide shot of New York and all that stuff. And we cut to MJ on a train, reading a book. And right as she says, don't turn the light on, the lights turn off in the subway. Unimportant thing, but someone gets all claustrophobic that it's all dark and shit, and that they're in the train. MJ tries to comfort the person, and, you know, successfully does it. She shines a light outside, because they were hearing stuff. And in the reflection, there is a face. And not just any face, it is the Predator wearing the old skin of the guy he just killed. And, you know, stuff. Of course, Jameson is all pissed off that the internet's out and that they can't get any ad revenue and all that shit like that. Peter suggests a simple thing. Physical papers. Like, who the hell reads a paper nowadays? Anyways, the papers were spread about everywhere about the serial killer or the Predator, of course. Someone asks about how much the paper costs and all that other stuff, unimportant stuff. Some guy snatches the paper, or the cop from earlier, and of course does stuff like telling Jameson to give photo credit and all that stuff. Like, yeah. Spider-Man goes searching at MJ's house for MJ because, you know, that's how stuff usually goes. That's what a caring boyfriend does. And we cut to MJ on the train, presumably dead. Alright. Yeah, that's not how it ends. We still got a little bit to go. But MJ is presumed dead for now, but we're not 100% certain. Some guy is yelling about the papers. He's getting robbed now, and the robbers get shot through the hand by a bow. One of them goes running off. One of them gets shot in the head by an arrow, and the others go off. The arrow is pulled out of someone's head, and guess who it is? No, it's not the Predator, you dumbasses. I'm kidding, of course. It's not the Predator, though. It's actually Kraven the Hunter, asking about the Predator that's on the loose in New York. And that is where issue 1 ends. A personal opinion, issue 1 is really good. Like, I really like the way how issue 1 is, like, lined up of, like, how the Predator is, like, just known as just a serial killer, and how he's, like, you know, like, just taking parts of people off of their bodies, like the hands, teeth, lower jaw, upper jaw. And it's very gruesome, by the way. I would not recommend anyone under the age of 13, like, buys this. Like, do not buy if you're under the age of 13. Like, that's really all I'm going to tell you. It's a really good comic. I would recommend anyone reads it, you know? Like, not anyone, no. Like, how I previously just said. Like, any collector, if you want to pick it up, like, go ahead, pick it up. It really reminds you of, like, the old, like, Batman vs. Predator stuff. But it's not, like, it doesn't immediately start off with the Predator, like, fighting the character, you know? It just, like, eases into to when they're gonna fight, you know? Unfortunately, I know issue 2 dropped. Unfortunately, I don't have it yet, but I'll review it when it comes in, alright? Alright, that was my review on Spider-Man vs. Predator. Hope you guys liked it. Stay safe, stay safe, and don't do anything illegal, alright? Don't do anything bad. Alright, this has been Maxzilla, and I hope you guys have a good night. Have a good night, day, morning, afternoon, or whatever time zone it is you're watching this in.